कृषि में बीजारोपण से लेकर हार्वेस्टिंग तक, फसल कटने तक क्रॉप के हेल्थ का मॉनिटरिंग सबसे महत्वपूर्ण है। क्योंकि पूरी पूरी खेती में जो क्रॉप की मॉनिटरिंग होती है, हेल्थ की मॉनिटरिंग होती है, उसी से सारा यील्ड पता चलता है और उससे ही पूरी खेती का दारोमदार रहता है। तो हम आगे चलते हैं। खेती में क्रॉप हेल्थ मॉनिटरिंग यूजिंग ड्रोन्स, इस विषय पर डॉक्टर सुनीता चौधरी साइंटिस्ट हैं इक्रिसैट की, उनसे निवेदन करते हैं वो आकर अपना प्रेजेंटेशन अब हम लोग के सामने दें, जिससे कि भारत सरकार की बहुत बड़ी समस्या है कि इंश्योरेंस की दृष्टि से, यील्ड एस्टिमेशन की दृष्टि से, क्योंकि हेल्थ मॉनिटरिंग ठीक से नहीं हो पाती है और ड्रोन ही एक ऐसा माध्यम है, ऐसा लगता है, जिसके माध्यम से सबसे अच्छे ढंग से क्रॉप हेल्थ मॉनिटरिंग हो सकती है। तो हमारे सामने डॉक्टर सुनीता चौधरी जी आ रही हैं, प्लीज।
Good afternoon to everyone. Thank you to DFI for having me here. Without any delay, I would like to start my presentation. My name is Sunita Chaudhary. I am scientist for system analysis for climate smart agriculture at ICRISAT. ICRISAT is an international agriculture research organization which work for semi-arid tropics. Now, what is semi-arid tropics? Semi-arid tropics is the drylands where rainfall is less than 800 mm. So usually ICRISAT work for those areas which are very deficient. The soils are not very productive, environment is not very favorable for farmers. ICRISAT just doesn't work for India, but it also work for Africa and other continents where there is a dryland area, semi-arid areas are there. Right now the headquarters is in Hyderabad and we work there for quite some time. I started my journey with drone from 2018, where we found there is a big deficit and which drone can fill it. So all my presentation is about that. I'm a hardcore researcher, not technology, but then what I have understood and where it can be applied is the intersection. A drone is a perfect intersection where biological science or agriculture science meet with the technology science or the engineer science. So it's worthless to say that drone market is increasing not only in outside but also in India. And then the projection says that the major application or the business is going to grow in precision agriculture apart from other agriculture in next 10 years. One thing to note that not only hardware we are going to increase the market for, but the software. Softwares are very, very important if you want to make efficient use of any hardware. And software play important role in the usage, in the job, in the business, everything. How comfortable you can make the technology, that is decided by your software. So just a simple example, my other colleagues have also given this. As that phone has been transformed into mobile smartphone, but during this journey, a lot of people were parallelly working on the software side. Like now, smartphone is not just for calling, but also for message, also for emails, also for location, navigation, payments, social networking, whatnot. All are there. So all those software side, all those application you have to work if you want to make your drone to be smart drones. So similarly, in this effort, ICRISAT has all the wills and skill to develop it. My colleagues have already emphasized in the Kisan Drone application. So just a one slide brief about that. Kisan Drone is a very good initiative of government, and it is given a quantum leap, like it has given a jump to the agriculture sector with that. It is also good that Kisan drones are hexacopter. So hexacopter is going to load your other sensors which are not possible with quadcopter. So I'm glad that Kisan drones are meant for high payloads and where the other sensor can be utilized. So first thing, our lot of ICAR's research center, they are working on droplet size. Droplet size is something which decide how efficient your chemical spray can be. With a smaller droplet size, you can cover the higher area. That's why Dr. Sangeeta was briefing that in 95% of the chemical load you can reduce with this droplet size. So in just 500 ml, you can cover an acre of that, like for so many chemicals. Second is the nozzle. Nozzle is also very important for all different kind of chemical. Same nozzle cannot be used. There is no silver bullet for this. So for spraying of the pesticides, you need angles, nozzles at some angles so that it can cover the foliar canopy. For weedicide, for nano urea, you need a nozzle which is straight down so that it can go to the deeper layers and also make the impact. So now a lot of work is going on mechanical side for the drone, and I am quite happy we are onboarded, and in coming year we will see the impact of this. Like there will be very advanced drones with highly sophisticated nozzles, highly sophisticated droplet size and all this. Same time, drones are also getting used for mapping, surveying, all those like for many other things. Also, a lot of more than 200 startups are now registered in India with drone, and we have to make sure that drone has a developing application, so all this sector grows smoothly. So one of the basic question, which area we should prioritize? Already with the standard application, spraying, surveying, monitoring, we are growing very well. And in coming year, we will be like technology added mechanical advancement will be seen in agriculture. But what advanced application, as I was talking about smart mobiles, what advanced application we can take so that our drone application will be more user friendly, more applicable, more bigger sector for the in India. So my presentation is about that, which applications we have observed from the agriculture researcher and which is very unforeseen. And this can transform the agri sector in sustainability towards the sustainability, which is one of the target of the ICRISAT. So one is phenotyping. Don't get confused. I will brief what is phenotyping, but it is all mostly related with new crop development, new variety, new hybrid development, which is very, very cumbersome process in agriculture research. It is also related with the trait predictions, like what parameter you want. It can be like phenotype easily. It is also related with the crop insurance, yield predictions. Then crop health is one of the major area, disease, pest monitoring, tracking of the pest, drought, any kind of abiotic stresses, drought, heat, and nutritional parameters. Same time, as my colleague was talking about the historical data, government at district level office, they collect a lot of data on crop, which crop has been grown in what area. And this data is very, very useful for us, is a guiding principle for us. But what happened that data quality and precision in that is always a question, because it has been taken by lot of number of people. But whether we can transform this area with the drone, whether government sector can be equipped with drones so that this data collection will be far more robust. Also, this data will help in low height remote sensing. Whatever data we are getting from remote sensing, major challenge is validation. How you validate what you are getting from remote sensing. So for that, drone can be a perfect match. It can validate on ground level, and it can help in growing our remote sensing area as well. So little bit about phenotyping. When a crop or variety get developed, agriculture scientist, which we call breeder, has to make many crosses, and there are more than 10,000 type of plants or the plots which they have to characterize. So if they have to select the efficient one, they need a data of all. And simple trait like plant height, if I have to measure and select on based of that, for this 10,000 lines, I have no technology. I have to send my person with the scale to measure the height. So whether we can fill this gap, whether the phenotyping constraint can be overcome with drone, and is the crop variety development could be little bit enhanced. So as an example, I'm showing like lot of data collection is very manual in agriculture research. It costs a lot of manpower. Even the root trait extractions is very, very manual, very costly also. So my take is here, whether we can transform this labor intensive, time intensive, cost intensive processes in agriculture research with drone. Answer is yes, and we are doing it, and there is a big business. It can be, if startups like to engage with that. Like agriculture sectors, all agriculture institutions, they grow a lot of trials, which are more than 100 plots in one trial, and they do all data collection very manual. So there is a drone which can fill this gap, and it can be much more efficient for this. Similarly, it's not like plant phenotyping industries is like not growing. Outside the India, it is growing a lot. There is a lot of robotics has been developed for field to characterize these plants. But drone is a vehicle which we can take a shortcut with that. We don't have to go on this. Most of these phenotyping facilities are very static. You have to bring your plants to these chambers, or you have to bring this ground vehicles to your field, and you need a precise field, which is not possible in India. So drone is like you hang your sensor and you take it to any field and you can characterize it. It's like a boon, like it's a blessing to agriculture, where you can take your sensors to field. So what is the constraint here if I want to do phenotyping is the image analysis. It's like AI technology, machine learning technology, which you use to transform the images captured with various sensors in with drone to a data. And it is a big process. It has till now it is very, very specific, like field to field. It is very local analysis is there. Can we make this image analysis as a more robust system where you take it to any field and it will predict this with same accuracy? So this is our all efforts, ICRISAT all effort, which is making to develop a image analysis pipeline which is robust enough to predict those traits, and we can enhance or boost or accelerate the crop development with this technology. So we do a lot of data collection, we do a lot of data pre-processing, building and training the model. We engage a lot of IT people, a lot of other sector people, and validation is something important. We do a lot of ground truth data collection so that it can be enhanced, and then we predict. This is all for trait prediction, but then this is ICRISAT is meant to enhance, to strengthen the national system. So we also do the collaboration networking with drone startup so that they can take this technology and make it a business out of that. So our whole effort in this, we established the drone phenotyping platform at ICRISAT. We are trying to do collaboration, we're trying to do a lot of awareness, and all the efforts are on the development of robust pipeline or the software, so that at some point it is integrated in drone and that it can be utilized for many more purposes. So this is some glimpse of our phenotyping platform. We are developing a lot of data with that. So for this we do a lot of precision trial which is weed free. For initial discovery sector, we have to take very, very precise experimental ground truth. We use different kind of sensors, and we also use different kind of ground validation models and platforms. We collect data at different crop stages. We collect flights, images, and ground truth also we do. Like ground truth, when you actually collect, I take the scale data and I also take the flight, and then I develop my image analysis pipeline, I predict, and then I compare with the actual data, manual data, how accurate I am. If I am not accurate, I still train the model, I still try to improve the accuracy of the prediction. So this is something we are trying to do here. With image analysis, we are trying to fix many of the traits which are used in agriculture research. With hyperspectral and multispectral data, we are trying to use NDV and many other kind of indexes to predict the disease, foliar diseases, pest infestations, nutrient deficiency, and other kind of abnormalities in the plant. So with disease, we are going quite good. We are trying to distinguish the disease and a non-disease plant. We are trying to identify the spectra which are involved in different kind of diseases. This is the example of SMD disease in pigeon pea, which is major, and Karnataka, lot of fields recently has been collapsed, and it was the question in their parliament. So these are something we are doing which can support the remote sensing data in future. For nutrition, as you know, nutrition parameters are done in lab, and it takes lot of time, 3 months, and sometimes agriculture researchers, they have to grow 7 generations to get one variety, and then they don't have time to wait for this. It's already 5 to 10 years it takes. So we are trying to overcome this. Some 10 years back, some benchtop machine sensors came, but then they have also limitation. They can cut down the time, but not the process. Then handheld, with which we struggle for accuracy, but now it's a drone which can do it in minutes. So what we have developed in this image analysis pipeline, first is, yeah. So first is flight SOP, which will tell which crop, which trait. So what long stature crop we have taken, short stature crop, model crop we have taken to develop this pipeline. So SOP has been developed at what height, what resolution, which camera you will use to get those parameters of plant. Then image quality, because sometimes with air all the time image quality is not good, so it has to pass the image quality matrix we have developed. And then image analysis we are developing. So altogether, for smart drones we need a smart machinery and analysis pipeline. So this is our pipeline, which is cloud based, and we are trying to generate and predict and also we are looking for startups to commercialize it, uptake the technology further, and it will be disruptive innovation when it will be transformed into web-based application, and the predictions are very, very user friendly for the, then only it can reach the actual customers, which is farmer. So for this pipeline, if it is robust enough, if testing validation are done good, we can transform into web-based interfaces where this kind of predictions, recommendations, real-time recommendations can be done. It can be used by many insurance company or the government to pay the emoluments for the farmers when there is any kind of crisis. And then we are also trying engage in a state level consortium for various other purpose, which can decide what is the priority area for agriculture to develop further with that. So this is my final slide where yes, with standard application, we are moving well with mechanical development, but with advanced application like phenotyping, digital tech, real-time disease and pest monitoring, recommendation for fertilizer. Fertilizer is something like we are overdosing, specifically urea. So this recommendation can do the farm optimization, then yield predictions and insurance, and then we will actually touch the government mission on a Skill India, Digital India, and doubling the farmer income at some scale, at lower scale. So we have a lot of models to engage with them. I will not go in detail. We do a lot of networking and drone-based organization engagement. And with this, I would like to thank you everyone for your patience hearing. Thank you.
अब आगे बढ़ते हैं और अगले सत्र की ओर चलते हैं। वैसे तो ड्रोन की टेक्नोलॉजी जो है, ड्रोन इंडस्ट्री में टेक्नोलॉजी का क्या महत्व है हम लोग सब लोग जानते हैं, आगे बढ़ रहे हैं। लेकिन जैसे सचिव महोदय ने भी बताया कि प्रत्येक राष्ट्र के लिए रिक्वायरमेंट्स जो होती हैं, टेक्नोलॉजी रिक्वायरमेंट्स, वो यूनिक होती हैं। तो भारत की दृष्टि से किस तरह की टेक्नोलॉजी कृषि ड्रोन के लिए ली जाए, अपनाई जाए, इस विषय पर आगे चर्चा करेंगे। तो अगला सत्र टेक्नोलॉजी इम्प्रूवमेंट एरियाज़ फॉर किसान ड्रोन्स। ग्रुप कैप्टन नारंग साहब, काइंडली आप इस सेशन का मॉडरेशन करें।
थैंक यू अरुण जी। इट्स रियली प्रिविलेज टू बी स्टीयरिंग ए वेरी esteemed पैनल एंड आई रियली लाइक टेक्नोलॉजी। और टेक्नोलॉजी बेसिकली मेक्स adoption simpler, it reduces cost. एक्चुअली मैं इसको अपने आप पे इम्प्लीमेंट करना चाहता हूँ। जब भी मुझे गाड़ी हायर करनी होती है तो मैं सबसे पहले देखता हूँ किसमें सबसे कम पैसे हैं। तो वही वाली बात है, अगर मैं अब उसको इंटरपोलेट करूँ एक किसान पे, जब मुझे एक ड्रोन हायर करना है तो मुझे कौन कम से कम पैसे में ड्रोन प्रोवाइड करेगा, और क्या ये ड्रोन जो है हमें जो मैनुअल फैसिलिटी या मैनुअल स्प्रेइंग या मैनुअल सर्वेस करने हैं, क्या उससे कम कॉस्ट में पड़ेगा। सेकेंडली उसके बाद आता है सेकेंड पार्ट अबाउट द क्वालिटी। दोज हु कैन अफोर्ड, देन दे लुक एट द क्वालिटी। द थर्ड थिंग इज कि there are many technologies which have evolved in the last few years, but they have not succeeded. Not every technology has succeeded. The technology which have succeeded are the ones which are easy to use, where the user makes a little effort and he gets the maximum benefit. Imagine UPI came to it. Before that, many other technologies had come, but not till UPI was made as simple as a rickshaw wala or anybody else could use it. But if you go to the history of UPI, I was talking to the original, original team which has worked. They took 12 years to make it reach to the last man. In a drone fair sector, we are seeing this revolution for the last only few years. Before that, it was just a subject of discussion. But in the last 2, 3 years, we see really drones making difference in the real life of various sectors. So agriculture being the prime sector, government recognizing it, and last year launching agriculture Kisan scheme and Kisan Drone scheme and many other schemes. So it's a promising sector. And I would also like to say कि हमारे प्रधानमंत्री जी ने कहा मैं हर खेत में एक ड्रोन देखना चाहूंगा और हर हाथ में एक मोबाइल देखना चाहूंगा. तो basically, I also would like to relate it to our neighbor, China, which is a leading drone manufacturer. But I would also like to tell you that China is struggling with its agriculture sector. It has to import a lot of agriculture products. And India has been lucky. So a lot of compliments go to our scientists and people working on the field. And of course, our person, the Kisan, who's working on the field irrespective of challenges, irrespective of what is happening in the field. So, but technology, if it has to be adopted, it has to be as simple as UPI, it has to be as simple as Ola, and it has to be friendly. You should be able to pay easier, you should be able to decipher, and a lot of subjects which I heard since morning, कि भाई अगर मैं केरला से हूँ, can I make a sense out of it? Can I अंडरस्टैंड इन माई ओन लैंग्वेज. डू आई नो कि मुझे कितना. भाई सबसे पहले जब मैं गाड़ी देखता हूं तो मैं ये देखता हूं कि भाई मुझे 26 किलोमीटर जाना है तो मुझे पेमेंट कितना करना है, मुझे डिस्कस नहीं करना, क्योंकि जब भी नेगोशिएट करना बैठता हूं तो काफी प्रॉब्लम आती है. तो द टेक्नोलॉजी हैज टू फैसिलिटेट, दैट गिव्स मी फैसिलिटी टू सी इट. हैव वी रीच दैट लेवल? हैव आवर टेक्नोलॉजीज बीइंग favorable to the people who are using it on field? Do they know in their own language कि भाई मुझे मेरी जो धान की खेत है क्या उसमें this drone will work? Will it be how much I have to pay? जो अगर मैं हायर करता हूं कितना मुझे करना पड़ेगा? So that comparison or the liberty of the user, if that is granted to him, the ease of operation is granted to him, I'm sure drone will expand like a wildfire. So with that aim in mind and technology being the stimulator, I have a very, very, I would say, esteemed panelists who are not only researchers here, they are also people practitioners on the field. So to begin with, I would request ADG Shri S.K. Jhaji to offer his initial comments and how the drone technology is changing, and in his view, what changes we expect in the times to come. So,
first of all, let me thank the organizers for inviting our DDG, Honorable DDG, Dr. U.S. Gautam. But because of his prior commitment, I think the same commitment was there applicable for our secretary also. That is why he couldn't come. So he has to attend that meeting. So he has sent me as a representative. So nevertheless, I thank the organizers on his behalf, on my personal behalf, for giving me this opportunity to be a part of such a brainstorming kind of session. As far as, in fact, I was just asking the organizers what role I have to play here, because the title says technological improvements. And I am not a man of engineering. I am not a man who is there manufacturing drone. Maybe those who are involved in the process and manufacturing of drone, they will be the right person to talk about technological specification, because they can talk about hardware, they can talk about software, which are applying for the processing and manufacturing of drones, particularly for the use of what we say agri drone or Kisan drone or whatever, but mainly meant for the being applied at the field level in the field of agriculture and allied sectors. But then they assured me that don't worry, the technological part will be taken care of by other manufacturers who will be part of the audience. But whatever you just talk about the difficulties being faced by the end users at the field level. What are the constraints you are facing? And especially from, because I belong to that system, that is Indian Council of Agricultural Research, which is a part of Department of Agricultural Research and Education, what we popularly call as DARE. And in fact, I was just talking to somebody that it is, in fact, we generally as a local parlance, we talk about it is ICAR, but in general, I am finding some people during course of many levels of meeting at different platform, some are also utilizing the term ICAR. So generally in ICR, we are not this adjusted to listen this kind of term. Suddenly we feel awkward. iCar means iPhone and like that, or I-20 car or something. It is ICAR, Indian Council of Agricultural Research. Then, so from that perspective, we have been allotted. In fact, that Joint Secretary, ma'am, she was also new to the system. In fact, I am also new to the system. Who is the main person who is dealing is my senior colleague, Dr. VP Chahal, because he is on medical leave, so he couldn't come. So I have been sent as a representative. So he's the most suitable person to talk about the agri drones. But as far as to my knowledge and opinion, what we have gathered so far, in ICR system, we have been allotted 300 drones to be procured across 100 KVKs each, then 82 ICR institutes and 34 state agricultural universities along with 3 central agriculture universities. So in total, what we call, we have given them the name as Project Implementing Centers, PIC. So in all, there are 216 PIC and they are supposed to be 300 drones. But this is on paper, to be very honest. So far, I think we are hardly reaching 25% of the target, hardly. Because a lot of constraints are coming, especially in the government sector, because I am telling you, all these are coming under government sector. All KVKs are not directly under the control of ICR. To tell you the truth, there are out of 731 KVKs, that is Krishi Vigyan Kendras across the country, they are supposed to be under our division, that is Division of Agricultural Extension, which is looked after by the senior most person is Deputy Director General Agricultural Extension. But in reality, only 66 out of 731, only 66 KVKs are under Indian Council of Agricultural Research. The rest of them are with state agriculture universities, and you know agriculture is a state subject. So different agriculture universities are there, their vice chancellors are there, their separate government system is there, even vice chancellor is not empowered, ministry separate government, maybe government is changed at the center and that tune is not there, compatibility is not there vis-a-vis state as well as central government, that is also another reason, like in case of West Bengal and states like that. So all kinds of constraints we are facing, including tender floating, tender refloating, retender. Then that GEM portal, initially for quite a long period, this was a problem because in government mechanism we have to go through GEM, and in GEM for a long period of time, much long period of time, only one company was listed, that was IoT. And our colleague Mr. Upadhyay is there from IoT. In fact, I was congratulating him also. That you being the pioneer in this, so you are going to get the windfall profit. What in extension language terminology we call it as a windfall profit, and of course it is bound to happen. Your competitors will never be able to catch you up unless until you become obsolete like Nokia kind of thing. Okay, so be aware. So from that perspective, then again there are some political interferences. Even I am telling you off the record, there are certain instances, vice chancellor in principle or over telephone or over email, he has kindly agreed to go through the proposal, but their comptroller or the senior finance people, they are objecting. So all these kind of things are there. Then finally, there are in some cases they also request that even 10 lakh per drone that should be subsidized further and all that. So several kinds of requests are coming. So ultimately, as a result of this, still things are under the pipeline, and we do hope that very soon, at the earliest, we should be able. Although we are giving this deadline of 31st March to each and every KVKs across the system, but we cannot at least overcome those state level barriers and constraints, in the name of bureaucracy or technical or maybe financial hurdles. So they are taking all these things. Right now, I am not talking about the difficulties and constraints being felt at the field level. I am talking about the logistics kind of thing, administrative kind of thing, and financial. The field level also, as we know, in agricultural sector or in any any innovation. You know, there are simple innovations and then there are disruptive innovations. So this comes under the second domain, disruptive innovations. And Steve Jobs were very fond of mentioning this time and again, disruptive innovations. If you are using a simple landline phone, you upgrade it, model upgrade it, but the digits are same. That is simple, that is innovation in the same segment, but very little difficulty on the part of users to utilize that phone set. Colors are changing, appearances are changing, but so far, all those 9 digits and 0 are there, star are there, so people are accustomed to use that. But the minute it changes to that mobile phone, now all those old people, many of you might be sitting here who might have taught their parents, their grandparents how to use mobile. Why? Why does it happen? Because it is a kind of disruptive innovation. Innovation in the sense, but for that you have to unlearn the previous learning and relearn the new one. And that is a cumbersome process, especially on the part of the end users. So this belongs to that category. It is not simple as that what people were telling, that tractor and go and purchase a tractor. Because I am telling you, even the area of Punjab and Haryana, our one of the Atari is located there in Ludhiana, and they should have been the harbinger of that this adoption of agri drones in the country. But in that zone, the very poor percentage is there. If those working at the field, especially from drone sector, they might be aware. And they are the same reason, because their loan is not an issue. Many farmers will bring their whole money inside clothing site of system or temporary sack or bag, and they will put there and give me tractor like that. That kind of farmers are there. So for them, loan is not a problem, but operating. Not only operating, you need another set of people to contribute as pilot for them. Even there was a request from many of our colleagues at the field level. Why don't you allow us to hire pilots so that training portion is taken care of? And because training takes time, you have to recruit somebody, you have to choose somebody, the youth, and they should have passport also. That is also time and again we have been raising this issue right from, I think Mr. Shah was there, Mr. Upadhyay was also there in several rounds of meeting at agricultural ministry level. These questions were time and again cropping up, and our honorable secretary has assured us, don't worry, we will talk to secretary DGC and all that. Fortunately, he also acknowledged the same, that we are getting this request. Maybe in the long run it will be taken care of. So until unless that people are desirous of making such kind of radical changes, that why don't you allow hiring of pilots, but don't cut the budget. Second component, the moment even there was this condition, at some point of time, unofficially it was advised, okay, we'll take care, but still because we have to see the result, demonstration, how much area covered, which are the crops covered, everything. So you go ahead and you hire the pilot. But then budget, budget you manage from there and there. No. Then the finance people are, sir, this budget is separate, this head is separate, this head is separate. So there are a number of complexities. It is not like that, because generally in terms of adoption of any innovation in life, first and foremost question comes in the mind of any customer, any client, any end user. The very important criteria we teach and we have been taught, relative advantage. Relative advantage vis-a-vis earlier technologies applicable in the same arena. Still, maybe you meet across some kind of progressive farmers who may advocate, sir, even employing labor, for me, labor problem is not a problem. I can manage, I can procure. And still it is cheaper than what you call. Maybe you can find such. For them, especially those Punjab, Haryana farmers. Even during COVID times, you might have got the newspaper articles. They are sending air-conditioned bus to places like Bihar. I belong to the state of Bihar. To bring back those laborers, special privilege, AC bus, 2x2, sleeper coaches. And they are bringing, for them, money is not a problem. Instead of doing this, because it is so cumbersome technology. The second point which takes care of any innovation
is that complexity of the things. The moment we find complex, any technology, the moment we find it is getting complex for us to learn and to use, simple, you see, simple username and password, so many applications, so many accounts, so many things, every time user, right from desktop to PC to laptop to mobile, everywhere, many times we also get confused with this password, and in many cases there are complications, it should not be repeated or changed after every 6 months, 3 months, and like that. So the moment complexity arises in terms of utilization of any innovation, it creates hurdles. Then there are observability. You need to observe it. Everybody likes to get things in neighborhood, पड़ोसी के यहाँ क्या चल रहा है. If they are finding it happy, अरे, he has developed. Suddenly socio-economic status has developed. How come? Oh, because of drone. Hey. Then they might talk to that fellow, not come to you or come to me. They will talk to that because they are having more credibility in the nearby locality, being the local people, being the same condition, same homogeneous condition. So now they are very much in awe of that particular technology, and then they might think in ours that extension and adoption, we also take a serious note of mental adoption. That is also a criteria. Once you have mentally decided to adopt something, so that means you might have seen that you go to any shopkeeper, like suppose gadget or even car, they know from where decision will come. They are psychologically tuned to read the mindset. They generally focus on your better half, not on you. Once they are able to persuade and convince your wife, that means deal is almost done. So similarly, that observability, because now here for you wife is credible source of information, because ultimately decision making has to be family based. Similarly, for them, fellow progressive farmer is also a credible source of information. The moment they feel, yes, it is reaping the required benefits, it is useful for uplifting our overall empowerment and that socio-economic status, for even overall quality of life we can improve upon. So then they will like to adopt that technology. That means observability, but not in my field, not at the cost, because initially they are all afraid. They are all apprehensive of the end result. They want that these kind of R&D should happen at others' field, not on my field. And then finally we talk about cultural or social compatibility. Compatibility with the given system. If you talk about using drones for a small piece of land, because you know in our setup across India, which is the major segment of farmers, marginal labor, landless laborers, what we call, although they are laborers, but they are actually contributing in farming by working as farmer, but not on their own field, but on somebody else's field. So that contributes the major chunk of our farmers. So for such a where majority of the people are having less than 1 hectare of land under their possession, how do we expect them to suddenly run and adopt this agri drone for their purpose? It will take some time. But somehow I do feel, personally I do feel that people at the helm of affairs, they are in a quite hurry kind of state. No, they think that in the evening, you visit a mall, purchase one drone, tomorrow in the daytime you do all spraying, and evening by evening you submit the report, like corporate sector are doing. So that day after tomorrow we can convene a meeting and we can decide, yes, it is impact of drone and this and that. It is not going to happen so soon. We have to wait for it, as was the case, because unless until it is something like mobile technology, nobody has given any training courses, nobody has given any awareness courses for adoption of mobile among the lowest classes of people, right from rickshawala, tangawala and vendor. Everybody is having mobile. Who gave them training? Who gave them awareness? That willingness to learn is coming from their own. For them, no training program is 15 days training program or 10 days training program or awareness program. They know from where to procure and how much money to invest, where we can find the cheapest mobile. They know everything and they know how to use also. Nobody has given any training. Unless until that kind of mindset, that kind of attitude, that kind of willingness, willpower on the part of the end user will come, till the time it will take some time to adopt this technology, because very sooner or later, like I always give this example that
Right now, many people are opposing the idea of that bullet train and all that. Initially, people were opposing metro concept, but now we are reaping the benefits. It takes time. Maybe in the long run, we'll definitely get benefits. But as far as the current financial, if you just slow down and limit everything and confine everything 31st March this year for getting all the results, that will be, from personally, I think that will be too much to be expected. But very slowly and slowly, it may take some time. But I don't see that within next 5 years it will be maybe the common kind of innovation, and then there will be several players in the market who will be bent upon in manufacturing and designing drone also. Because especially from drone perspective, one thing I am missing: user interface is missing. No command, user autopilot mode. Somebody talked also in that first session. Autopilot mode. People want to have some control over their gadgets. How I can manipulate? Which crop? Which design? How much precision technology should be applied? This ml of drop should be there, or this mg of nutrients should be there. That kind of user interface is required. So I do hope that very soon our people in that industry, they will be developing these kind of things also. So with that, I thanks my colleagues also for inviting me to share my thoughts and opinion. And I do hope that if anybody of having any queries, especially from clientele's perspective, we talk about empathy, we talk about telepathy, and we talk about sympathy with the farmers. So from that perspective, if you are a friend of farmers, if you have got any queries pertaining to that, you may ask. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. We'll take these questions at the end. Since we are short of time, I'll request my fellow speakers to restrict their remarks to 4 minutes. And rather, since we are, in fact, I would like to thank Mr. Jha for raising the issue. When he spoke about Nokia becoming redundant, basically what he meant was technology. Technology made Nokia, go out of the market. Similarly, when he talks about, who taught somebody to use a mobile, again he's talking about the technology, and we need those technologies which will make requirements of a complex training into a simple user interface for a common farmer. So we are talking about technology now. Before I go to my technologies, I have Shri Pradeep Chopra ji. So what do you think Indian industry needs to do on technology, and your views on some of the issues?
Thank you very much. Actually, I am studying in the first session. Our joint secretary madam was already there. She has already told so many things. And I have some taken supplement some of the.
Yeah, initial remark, if you can just add so that
I have been talking with the industry people. So they are saying during this financial year, though we have released the funds, but there is no purchase, or there are some difficulties are being observed, which has been brought to our notices also. And like because this is a novel technology, even we were not exposed to it. Though I have been associated with Biotech company, Madam, Senator Tower Madam, when we have been working in the field to generate the data and to see the feasibility of application of drones for the application of pesticide and soil nutrients. So I have been associated with these people for the last 4 years, and because there is no information, there is no data was available, and with the इससे हम इसको बैकअप कर सकते हैं. However, once it announced in the budget speech, so this has been taken on the war footing basis, and we are working accordingly, and we have brought up SOPs, generic SOPs, which is I think hard work of all these people, our SEUs, our KVKs, and we have collected the data, and we have formatted generic SOPs, and now we have been working on the crop-wise SOPs, and which is for the 9 crops we are already running. And because data are very limited, no information is available there. So this is, and some of the people have been talking about trained pilots. Yes, this is our trained pilot here. So when they have been trained from the RPTOs, they are simply they can fly the drones. But drone is not a thing like a tractor, which is to be tried as a vehicle. It has some applications. It has to be used with some gadgets, and the person who is using the drone, he should have a complete understanding of those things. So this is a kind of a technology. If I'm using for pesticide application, so I need to understand what kind of a pesticide is. If I'm as a drone operator, what kind of a pesticide we have to use, what is the state of pesticization. But in the first session, somebody has told all these things. So I will not repeat those things. So this is an interdisciplinary course. This is an interdisciplinary kind of a system. Or until unless we don't have the background of those things, we cannot use it properly. So, and another thing to schedule standardization, like in our scheme, we call it Mission on Agriculture Mission. We are promoting the agriculture mechanization to the by subsidizing the machineries for the, and we want to ensure that whatever the machineries are being supplied under that government scheme, they should have minimum quality. For that purpose, we have a rider for the common machines. It should be tested. It should be tested from our designated test centers for the performance testing. But in case of our drones, we don't have any such designated testing centers. So we have followed that type approved, type certified drones will be supplied under the SMME scheme, and initially they were I think for the last 2 or 3 months they have been around 6 or 7. Now I think 9 or 10. 10 drones have been 10 drones have been listed, and out of 10, I think 6 are Kisan Drones. It comes under the category of Kisan Drones. And the other issue of that drone pilots, I think as on date 38 RPTs are there, and 2,500 about 2,500 trained pilots are there. So and out of those 2,500, how many of them can be used on the farms for application of nutrients, and I don't know. So for that matter, we have thought our 4 SMPTIs, they can be developed as an RPTOs who will be training the training who will provide the skilled manpower for the agriculture drones. That they will have they will also specialize in how to use the how they can be applied in the you can promote the drones and for the various activities in the agriculture sector. So all agriculture ministry and what we people are doing, we are having a series of talks with the ICR, states, BFI, and we are trying to resolve all the issues which are being faced to promotion of drones and adoption of drones. We are So we are in a very, very initial stage, primitive stage, and once there are some initial hiccups also, so then we comes through this initial hiccups. So hopefully, drone technology in the next, as our ADGC has pointed out, in next 3 to 4 years, I think it will be very much in the practice for the different applications. So with this few comments, I'll
thank you, DG. Thank you very much for your remarks. आपने जो मेन इशू जो आपने रेज किया कि इट्स ए न्यू टेक्नोलॉजी बीइंग अडॉप्टेड एंड बेसिकली द जो टेस्टिंग रिक्वायरमेंट which is applicable for other products acquired by your department are not made applicable, and drone rules defined qualification criteria is accepted. That's a very, very encouraging sign. Now I come down to my industry friends. You have less time, lesser and lesser time, but I'm sure you have a lot of value to add. So about next 3 to 4 minutes, I request Shri Sanjeev ji, Sanjeev Kashyap ji. Oh, sorry. We had a long discussion before early in the morning. So he has a lot of points and very, very valuable points. And with other, we have, people from battery and drone service, drone manufacturing, Krishi drone manufacturing expertise. So with this heavy panel, Sanjeev ji, if you could deliver your recommendations, what technology initiatives we need to take in terms of drone technology, user point of view, and some of the issues you feel we need to address to meet the emerging prospects, opportunities, and challenges. Sanjeev.
So first of all, thank you very much for providing this platform. I am the youngest in the whole group of drone industry, if I may say so. So don't look at my gray hair. So it's a salt and pepper look I have adopted. So when I say youngest, I am 18 months into this, and my core proficiency is into manufacturing, supply chain, and of course operations. Looking at the technology, since I'm come from a farmer background, so I think a technology is meaningless unless we really know for whom we are developing this technology. So farmer, do you think he is interested what is the crankshaft of a tractor and what is the kind of specification that crank has, how much of displacement will happen and all that stuff? No. A 10th pass, like DGC has already said that drone operator has to be a 10th pass person who can find his livelihood in the villages itself. Will you be interested to look at the complexity of a drone, that how to repair it, how to maintain it, how to make it fly, how to have a visual line of sight control, and especially I'm talking about the agriculture spray drone segment. I think a technology is not a technology. It is simplified to that level that all these front end runners are able to adapt to that. So I sincerely see that a wide gap there. Which needs to be bridged. Second part of the technology, which I think is going to be very, very important for us, is that for whom we are making technology, for whose comfort we are making technology. If at the end of the day, farmer is not comfortable, be it a price point, be it availability of service, be it affordability of a product, that technology is of no use. Third milestone, I think, which I need to challenge each manufacturer here, where is the innovation is coming from? Now, if I may give you a simple example that not quoting a technology, but quoting one particular segment in a drone itself, we have something to make the drone fly. So in case of one technology, there is a fuel, and in case of other technology, there is battery, and there is different types of batteries which are there. From a manufacturing point of view, do we see that how many batteries will become redundant after 3,000 acres when it will be sprayed? If I may give you a number, 6 to 10 batteries all across will become redundant, and they need to be recycled for one drone in a year's time roughly. Now imagine how much e-waste we are going to generate. What is our sustainability model over there? Now, are we innovating enough to see that we can make these battery life cycles which are usable for over a period of time. Coming on to I think few of our speakers commented on the user interface point of view, multilingual user interface. I mean, a person who is been made to fly a drone, he's a 10th pass. I'm sure he does not understand Hindi in lot of states, and of course, English is something which he is not fully conversant with also. Now, looking at these kind of challenges, can we make a kind of technology which possibly is developed in English, but it can be translated to any language by a selection of a button from a mobile phone? And can we do that? Is that possible? Now, this is something we really need to challenge ourselves as manufacturers. Working on security element, I would like to highlight one thing. Drone is something which can carry something. So in case of agriculture, it is agrochemical products, but it can also carry anything which is not of a greater interest for a civilized society. So what is the kind of security mechanism we are building it? And that's the reason, sir, we are actually looking at the automation part of drone flying, because there is a farmer who is part of the platform, there is a field which is part of the platform, there is a mission planning which is done in the applications. I think my colleague from IoTech also mentioned that. All these applications are being developed to simplify the life. Looking at the smartphone technology, people are able to use that technology, and we need to build it up to a smartphone technology level. We need to simplify that. Now, from there, if we look at a farmer as a micro entrepreneur who is going to do the spray missions to the various other farmers also, will he be able to generate invoices from the system? Will he able to collect money from the system? Can he get money in advance from the farmer? Because he is belonging to the same community where these farmers are coming from. So is technology working in that direction? So I think we used word called disruptive technology and all. But I think most importantly is available is that we are in motherland of India. So what works in India has to work with our farmers. We have to work with the kind of pilot community we have. We have to work with agrochemical companies whereby the data security is very important for them. Why their farmer from one agrochemical company will be losing, they lose a data to another agrochemical company. So this is going to be a gigantic task for all of us. At the same time, looking at what we are actually going to spray, it's an agrochemical product we are going to spray based on various international agencies. So agrochemicals can be sprayed from 100 microns to 300 microns. Can farmer depend on one nozzle technology, which can doesn't allow him to swipe like we do it with the conventional farming, and he can just on a pre-fed of a crop, can he use that technology, and the other parameters of drone are auto-settable over there? Why we want to bring this technology is not we underestimate the literacy level of our farmer, but we are trying to make it more conversant for him, more user friendly for him, and try to see what benefits these farmers can get, and or micro entrepreneurs these can get at the end of the day. Are they able to make money? So that is where the buck stops.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. I was looking at the watch, so he got the message. I'm so thankful to him. I'm running short of time. I need to move, but very important point. The challenge is he's spoken about a lot of things which I would like to understand. But the problem is who's going to do it? There are startups who are still trying to understand agriculture drone. There are companies who have a specific specializations. Will one company do all these things? Or are we thinking of collaborating with each other? Actually, I find, pardon my, even if I'm a little sensational, the moment I put a white skinned guy here, we will collaborate. But when we have to look at each other, we are little reluctant. Can we overcome that, that hesitation in looking at each other? The drone sector gives me confidence because when I sit in this room, most of the people are not the white skin. So that gives me confidence that drone is different from even automobile and IT. Because I don't want to see a drone sector which is as good or as good as a auto or IT. In fact, it has to be 100 times, 1000 times bigger, collaborative, and having a technology and IP in India. For that, we will have to slog in development of technologies, innovation, and collaboration. Technology, innovation, and collaboration. Unless we follow this approach, we will not move in a desired direction. I want to see a drone hub which is not a service oriented, but a manufacturing, innovation, and service oriented, where we provide the composite solutions not only to India but to the world. That is what I look forward to it. And in the same form, now I have Shri uh, uh, our Raja Raman, and also I request Smith to take my place. You are in a battery technology, so I have lot of questions raised on the battery technology by my fellow patronists. So please address all the questions, and I look forward to much more value addition. Thank you. Smith, thanks for joining.
Yeah, Raja, please. Thank you for the opportunity. If I were to summarize the problem we have with respect to battery and drone relationship, you all came in a car here, and imagine the car had a 2-liter petrol tank, and you had to stop every 2 kilometers to refuel the tank, right? And that is, in a way, a summary of the problem we are facing today. Today, because the drone has a 10-liter a tank, or a 12-liter tank, or a 16-liter tank, and that has to be carried and sprayed, that battery drains quickly. So the number one area, the technology area we are working on, and where it's moving towards is how do we extend the life of the battery? We call it endurance. How do we extend the endurance so that we can do at least 3 acres in one charge? So that's the minimum we should be able to do. Today we are doing about 1 acre per charge. And we have battery technologies which can take to 3, we have been in existence for like 18 months or so. Within the 18 months, we are able to create batteries that can do up to 3 acres. Now there will come a day soon which can do about 10 acres or so. So the technology, first thing is to change the chemistry in such a way that we are able to do more than 20 acres in a day. Today, by and large, plus or minus few acres, it's around 20 is what averaging. Can we do more than that? Is one area we are working on. And once you do that, today you are spending more than 200 to 250 rupees per acre on the battery cost itself. Battery is very expensive technology next to drone, because the drone you will invest a few lakh rupees. But again, on every battery battery set, you have to spend another 50 to 60,000 rupees. And it's not available immediately. So second problem with respect to technology, what we are solving is, we have already solved in this year, is to bring the cost of operation down to near about 100 rupees per acre. Where it was 250 rupees per acre. Now, all this involves dealing with chemistry and creating a battery technology which can do all these things for you. Okay. That is on one side. This technology will continue to grow in that direction, and soon there will be a day around 50 to 60 rupees per acre, we should be able to cover that. Second thing is, somebody brought it up about the life of the battery itself. Today, several batteries which are sold today are Chinese imports. And these import battery claim to deliver 500 cycles, but they were tested with a lower charge, like 1C or 2C. Whereas you need a higher output, you need a higher 11C to 12C to operate in a grey drone. Result of which, what has happened is that people are today subject to buy a battery based on the sticker of 500 cycles, but in effect they get only 180 or so. Now that technology is changing now. We have changed it to close to almost 650 tanks which you can spray during the life of that battery. So these are some of the chemistry related things which has come into it. The other thing is to make it available immediately. The biggest problem right now is today it takes 45 days to get a battery. So the technology is now being developed here. We are manufacturing it in Chennai here. That technology of manufacturing has made it possible for us to ship it within 2 days. So this will continue to grow where it is available the same day and so forth. So these are some of the broad level areas where it can change the village level entrepreneur's life, because his life depends on whether or not he's able to earn out of that drone which he purchased. Okay? Whether he got it on subsidy or not, his recurring cost is not subsidized. This battery, he still has to pay full price and then buy it. It is not subsidized as far as I understand.
So therefore, bringing down the cost is the single one objective with which we are working right now, and this technology is being deployed for that.
Thank you, Alan. So points noted till now are more on the usability aspect of the drone and the aspect that you mentioned. I think one of the points that you also would have liked to mention was in the earlier panel someone mentioned that drones are not ready, for the Indian farmers. Indian farmers are not ready for drones, which is because a lot of farmers have a lot of obstacles. So whether it is obstacle detection technology or precision positioning technology, that's also one role, very important role that sort of comes in. Then the usability of the entire platform, multilingual aspect, which Sanjeev also mentioned, and of course the life of the battery and the availability of the battery locally, which is both not just on the inventory side but also on the alternate cell chemistry, then the manufacturing, then the availability. And of course, when there is a local manufacturer, there is a concept of warranty or a minimum life that is guaranteed. So when you import a battery, there is no warranty, there is no guarantee, and in case there is anything wrong with the battery, of course, you are not going to be spending so much money to send it to China. But in this case, because you have a local manufacturer, the manufacturer is giving you warranty or a minimum assured life. So that's the advantage that comes in when you start focusing on technology and localization of technology. Next, I come to Akhilesh Jain. Akhilesh, you've been using drones on the ground. So, what kind of feedback have you seen? What kind of feedback do you see when you're using the drone? What kind of issues are being faced? And where do you think more improvement is required when you've been using these drones on the ground?
Yeah, thank you, Asmit. See, the most important improvement what we have experienced so far, particularly in terms of agri drones, is acceptability. So we are talking about a lot of benefits what the farmer can attain by utilization of spraying drones. But as before leaving, Dr. Narang made a very good point of collaboration. So it is very important that drone manufacturers do collaboration with agri software companies who can provide such inputs on analysis based on before use and after use of drones, which makes the farmer understands and accepts the use. Today everybody is going very hush hush about all these utilizes, but it has to be brought in a more I would say black and white space, so that the acceptability increases. Second most important thing is, of course, we've been talking about the usage of batteries. So, to scale things up, everywhere where people are currently deploying a set number of drones, the future holds very bright. But at the same time, to scale it up, there are technical upgradations which are required, which can help in covering more larger space, in one flight, maybe by improvement of batteries or maybe moving into a different mode of use of drones. And not only just spraying drones, there are multiple use of drones in end-to-end digitizing agriculture. Like we make use of many other payloads, which helps in extensive use of drone accessibility has to increase in terms of crop yield estimation, crop loss assessments, damage assessments, crop health monitoring, soil analysis, which are used as an input in the softwares to increase accuracy and digitizing agriculture in India. So being mindful of the time, I'll thank you, Asmit, for the opportunity.
Thank you, Akhilesh. I think one of the most important things that have been notified or brought out by Akhilesh is about recording the data and sort of then showcasing it to the farmer so that he is able to see data-based benefit. We are talking about drones helping the farmers and sort of bringing about change and bringing about benefits. But if the data is recorded and then that same data can be shown to the farmer that this is data based benefit that is being brought in, so maybe the logs that are being maintained or the spraying that is happening, so some things like how much water has been saved, how much pesticide has been saved, how much crop benefit has the farmer got. Those kind of data points can be used for helping the farmer. So next, coming to Aman. Aman, I believe you guys are also building some platform or portal to bring all of the stakeholders together. So can you share some light on why you're doing that and what kind of technology improvement areas did you first think of while coming up with this idea on the Kisan drone side?
So, hello everyone. I am Maman. I am Vice President Technology at AgriBazaar. So, like Smith said, that we are developing a platform which is actually an AI and ML layer over satellite and drone data. The idea is started under an MOU with the Ministry of Agriculture for the Agri Stack, which we have carry forwarded. We are now creating the soil, crop, health, risk, and credibility data of the farmers' farms uh, at an average size of around 10-meter resolution data sets for satellite and 10 centimeter resolution data sets for drones. Now, I would come to the improvement I see that are required in the technology. So number one is the enhancing the load capability to carry the sensors along with the spraying efficiency. Like if we can implement artificial intelligence right over the drone. We have done a pilot study where we actually were analyzing the drone data and we were marking the deficient point, the point where nitrogen or any other nutrient was deficient or where moisture was deficient. And we followed up by spraying fertilizer over those spots. And we have found that we were able to increase around 5 to 10% yield in Madhya Pradesh, soya bean and mustard both in the past 1 year. So if we can increase the load capacity and a drone can carry a thermal and a multispectral camera along with the processing capacity, be it an FPGA over the drone or any microcomputer that can process and analyze using an AI algorithm in real time where that spot is, which should be targeted to spray the fertilizer. This will not only increase the range of the drone, but also decrease the cost of service for us when we are providing drone as a service. Now, this also bring me ask the Ministry of Agriculture to help us integrate technologies like IoT, AI, ML into drones by sharing some sort of data on soil and crop, which is already present with Ministry of Agriculture. See, for any AI algorithm or machine learning algorithm, we need historic data set to calibrate and then we validate it in real time. So since we are a startup, although AgriBazaar has around past 10 season crop data and soil data for around 17 states of India, still we struggle with the soil data, be it physical or the chemical properties of the soil. But government can easily provide us the historic data that can be used to develop an artificial intelligence based algorithm for each and every agroclimatic zones. And this will somehow, see, we have a cloud platform. So that cloud platform can be integrated with the mapping software of the drone, and the mapping software will direct the drone on the hot spot for the fertilizer spray, for insecticide or pesticide spray or any kind of protection or control plan. So this is the basic like requirement which I see is most crucial and has a longer vision when it comes to enhancing the technology in drones. Also, one other part I have, this will also this advanced version of cloud integration with the software and the drone technology will actually automate the flight capabilities. It will increase the battery efficiency, it will increase the range of the drone, it will decrease the manual intervention which causes the error, it will increase the productivity, and the data collected with the cloud platform back, the feedback or reinforcement data will help the artificial intelligence algorithms to predict the yield more accurately in real time. And our farmer may know that today, after this spray, my yield has increased or is stable or has decreased, and what could be the control action I can adopt. And next day, he can do that control action and see how the yield goes the next day. It increases gradually. So this is something I was to share. Thank you.
So vertical integration of multiple data aspects, both on the existing legacy data as well as IoT data, and of course, then using that data to predict where to spray and what are the hotspots. Some very right points brought out by Jha sir as well earlier about looking at the adoption as well as the convincing of the farmers, as well as sharing the experience of a fellow farmer or a fellow drone service provider, and showcasing that experience to motivate others or their peers in increasing the adoption. Chopra ji also mentioned about how the increased adoption is coming in, and how KVKs are now going to adopt all of these technologies. And of course, we understand, sir, that while there is a deadline of March, but there is also a new financial year that is going to come in. So all of us may be pushing on the industry side because there is a deadline. But of course, we are looking at a long-term vision on ensuring that drones will be adopted in a steady and a sort of stable manner. And when we talk about technology, of course, there are two aspects. One is about the sensors and the detailed sort of components that go in, which is the positioning technology and the indigenization and the battery technology. And of course, it is the second part, which is more on the usability side, on can we integrate it with various types of softwares that Akhilesh mentioned and Aman mentioned, or whether can we make it usable. So very right points brought out, and we'll ensure that all of these inputs are brought in, and we'll suggest everyone else also that in case you have any additional inputs, sort of please do share it with our team, so that we can recommend specific technology development areas that the government and the ecosystem need to focus on for the development. So due to the paucity of the time, we'll not take any questions from the audience for this session, but handing over to Jha sir for his last remark, and then we'll close the session.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. In fact, based on whatever discussions and deliberations we have had so far across both the sessions, along with the opening remarks given by Secretary Sir, we can at least think about such kind of practical solutions at the field level. If you really wish to propagate the adoption of agri drones or Kisan drones, what is popularly known, at the field level, at the clientele level. And under that, first, now I can feel, based on all these discussions, even now during this summing up, concluding remarks, Mr. Smith Sir has also mentioned, that why don't we think about designing from now onwards. Of course, those drones which have been manufactured, designed already, no problem. But from now onwards, we need to take care of the viewpoint and perspectives of other two important stakeholders. That means, along with the technological person, there need to be one agricultural expert as well as one farmer also, because only then we can take the farmer's perspective input, whether because it may vary from agroecological zone to various other geographical locations. So we have to think from that perspective, whatever, because we cannot just for all of the farmers throughout the country, we cannot have a flat recommendation. Even you might be knowing different agricultural universities in different states, they have different SOPs and all that. So we need to take care of that. That means from now onwards, while thinking of designing and manufacturing drones, we need to involve at least two other stakeholders, one expert from agriculture sector, maybe R&D, and one farmer exclusively. Maybe progressive farmer, maybe knowledgeable farmer, or some awarded farmer, whatever you give the name. Number two, as far as this drone nozzle and all that, I have been listening. I am also new to the concept, so naturally I have no previous idea or no preconceived idea also. But now I can think with a parallel example coming from the wildlife photography or that professional camera. They are having a set of narrow lens, wide angle lens, and then normal lens. Why we can't have these three, four sets of nozzle along with, say, whenever wide nozzle is required or narrow nozzle is required, or a common normal type of nozzle is required. That can be also thought upon. Number three, like because I can only think of coming from that automobile sector and car industry. If they are able to sell their cars worth 50 lakhs, 1 crore, and other Mercedes, Audis, especially in areas like North Zone, Punjab, even a small city like Karnal, there are more than 2 dozen car showroom, more than 2 dozen. You can easily understand the purchasing power. Whereas in many major cities, I am finding one showroom is having 3, 4 brands. But I am talking about more than 2 dozen brands exclusively showroom in a small city like Karnal, hardly 125 kilometers from or in between exactly Delhi and Chandigarh. So even if they are such a mega that what we can say rich parties, but they usually come to the door of the client by visiting institutions, by visiting some common facilities or visiting some housing societies, and they have a one full day kind of exhibition come showroom where their experts are there. They help us to know the nitty gritties behind all such things. They even allow them to go for a test drive and all that. So in a way, they are trying to motivate and persuade the would-be clientele, would-be adopters to think in that direction. Herein, I would like, because this is something very new kind of concept, you need to have one trained pilot with you also, and so that at the field level, you can give a demo, live demo to the farmers, live demo to the agriculture universities people, live demo to ICR Institute people who are ultimately going to purchase it. So why not to think about such type of things? You get a list. We will provide you the list of all those PI centers, what we call project implementing centers, and you take a list of that, and you one unit visit that particular place. You have a one full day exhibition along with the one must component or ingredient of your package that should be a trained pilot, and then you give a demo at that whatever field has been decided by university or institute, and immediately they can feel, yes, we are a part of it and we can think about adopting it. So if you follow these three strategies or suggestions just coming in my mind as of now based on the previous deliberations, I think we can go a long way in that kind of implementation and propagation of such a new and interesting technology across the nation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for this session. I'll hand over the session back to Arun Pandey ji and will request my fellow panelists to just wait for a minute for a photograph and mementos.